Good afternoon, everybody. We're doing a princess balloon today. The one that I'm making is a Snow White look-alike, but the design is the same for all the different princesses. You just change their hair, change their dress, all that. The Snow White comes out the nicest of the collection I have because of all the extra components you use on her and her multicolored dress versus a solid colored dress. So we're going to get started today. I have two yellow, one blue, a red, a black, and a blush 260. Sorry if I sound a little funny today. It's just the way it's going to be for today's video. Okay, we're going to start with the bottom of the dress. We're going to take the two yellow, and we're going to blow them up to about 7 fingers off the nipple. And as you can see, I don't have the ability now to do my favorite trick where I can blow up 6 balloons at the moment. So I'm using a balloon pump. Okay, so I got 1. And again, 5 to 7 fingers off the nipple is a good place on these ones because you're going to do quite a few twists in it, plus distance or whatever, in order to create the dress itself. Okay, and then you would just squeeze it and stretch it out like we normally do. You can put it under your arm, pull it like that. You can grab your shirt and pull it like that. Less squeakiness means less chance of pulling the balloon apart. Okay, my dress is 2-finger bubble in length, followed by what is an ear twist. Followed by a 3-finger bubble. You can make this bigger if you want, but remember, by making it bigger, you're going to end up using more balloons. Next, we want to follow that with a 3-finger bubble, so I laid it side by side to try and make sure they're about the same length. Followed by an ear twist. And then we're just going to lay these next to each other because we want the distance to be about the same. And we have our first set to our dress, and we'll squeeze that down because we're going to continue on. We'll take our next balloon and we'll lay it next to our design, and we're shooting for approximate distance. It doesn't have to be exact, approximate. And we're doing the same thing. It's a long 2-hand open bubble, followed by an ear twist, followed by a 3-finger bubble. This is the only difference between the last one that I just created. Is we're going to take this, we're going to insert it through, and we're going to wrap the balloon into the design like so that you just crossed it over, and now it's on the opposite side, followed by a 3-finger bubble, followed by an ear twist, ear twist, 3-finger, 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 ear twist, ear twist, ear twist, and 4 bubbles that are approximately 2 open hands in length. Now, if your balloon is a little longer or a little shorter, your princess will lean in the direction where it's the shortest. So the object is to try and approximate it to be about the same distance. Tie these balloons together so you will have what looks like this. Then once you got those tied together, you would just insert this into the collection, spin these around, run one through. So now you've just locked those 4 into place. Now the object in my dress is you got to have 5 of these. So you take the longest one that you have, and you would run it down the 2-hand length bubble, followed by an ear twist. Plus you want to make sure you have room on here in order to do this, because if you don't have enough distance on your balloon, you're going to have to use another one. Next is the 3-finger bubble, and as you can see, we have a little extra bubble there. There's multiple ways you can do this bubble. You can either pop it off and just wrap it in, or you can leave that bubble in the design, which I usually do is I just leave that bubble in the design, and I roll it into the design. I roll it like twice through, And what happens is it helps to support the bottom of the balloon by pushing down in the center there. As you can see it, it's in there. Okay, the next thing you want to do is like a pinch twist, but it's going to be for all 5 of those. I usually use my knee in order to do that, but I'm going to use my hands to show you what I'm doing. Basically, we're just going to collapse the balloon on itself. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give it a nice beating, you know. And what happens is it bows your dress outwards. So that it gives it a more fluffy look. If you want to add more balloons to your dress, you could if you want. 5 is more than sufficient for this design. Also, make sure that your ear twists are all facing basically in the same direction on the down. That way when you set her on the table, she will sit nice and pretty for you. Okay? So that's the bottom of our dress. Now we need to do the top portion of her dress. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our balloon and we're going to go about 7 finger off the thing, or you can probably go as far as 9. You are going to make quite a few twists in this balloon, so the object is not to have it too tight when you get to the end. Okay, we're going to start with a petal twist on our blue one. This is going to be the upper part of her dress, followed by a hand-sized bubble, followed by a hand-sized petal twist. Reason being that they're hand-sized is you want to be able to thread the balloon through the design itself, because her arms have got to go through there. Those are going to be her shoulder bubbles. Okay? Now, with this part, you can either make it the same size or you can make it smaller. Depends on how big you want her chest of her thing to be. So I usually stay the same size. I usually go hand-sized bubble, followed by another hand-sized bubble. And then we're going to tie it right onto between the first petal twist and the other bubble. So now you should have what looks like this. Now, with this extra balloon here, basically what you're going to do is you're going to repeat this triangular pattern. I usually go down first, because once you get the top bubble up, it's harder to do this roll through. And the reason I have to do the roll through is because I need to lock this bubble in place. And again, your bubbles don't have to be perfect in the size, but if you got a smaller bubble on one side and a bigger bubble on the other side of her dress, what happens is she leans like she's got a pinch in her dress. So, like I said, approximity is key, but you know, it really comes down to your preference if you want her to be leaning. Okay, and as you can see, we just created a double set. It's 2 up, 2 on the sides, just like we would do like any of the other princesses that I have. The dress design itself is the same for all, except for the colors. I don't try and make other ones, unless it's Smurfette or something like that, where it's a bigger Loodle person, then I use a whole different balloon dress. But this is my design for my dress for most princesses. Okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to take your bottom of your balloon dress and connect it to the top of your balloon dress. And as you can see, we're connecting the yellow to the blue, which gives us our Snow White's dress. And then we're just going to thread it through again. If you cannot physically pull this balloon through your design, deflate it and then pull it through. But the whole reason that I leave enough space to be able to pull this through is because I got to be able to put her neck bubble in place, and it's got to go into the center too. So if you can't physically get that one in, you're almost guaranteed not to get the other bubble in place. Then you're going to want to tie it off and wrap it around a few extra times just to make sure that it's not coming out of your design for any reason. And now you can see we're really attached on there. Okay, it's looking really good so far. Just in our dress so that the top part sits right. Okay, looking good. As you can see, she's kind of tipping to one side, but again, that's okay. Once we put the rest of her in place, then that should compensate. Okay, next you're gonna blow up your 260 balloon blush, which is gonna be her body and her arms. So you're gonna put this to about 7 fingers off the nipple because you're gonna make a few twists in it, not a lot of twists, more length balloons than anything. So that's why you need the extra air, is because you got her arms and shoulders and stuff that are gonna take up a nice portion of that. Okay, before we create her face and arms, we have to have her hair. So we need to make black. Okay. Again, I usually stick to 5 to 7 fingers off on the nipple. That's just personal preference from my years of doing it. For my designs, again, everybody has different size hands. So if you're finding that my dimensions are wrong for you, adjust them accordingly. But we're going to start out, we're going to do a hand size pedal twist. Then we're going to follow it down by an open hand size bubble. As you can see, I spread my hands apart, or my fingers apart. Now we're going to put an ear twist here. Now we're going to come back up the length of the balloon, and we're going to do a lock twist, followed by an ear twist. Followed by a lock twist around the ear twist on the bottom. And this is where the other princesses change a little. This is my hair design. I sometimes pop it off here. Sometimes I'll roll this up to give it a nice little loop. Sometimes I'll spiral it, depending on the princess. For longer hair with a spiral. Sometimes I'll bob it off in the middle. For semi-long hair, but not fully long. Depends on the princess I'm making. For Snow White, I bob it off all the way up to the ear twist. Okay. Now we're going to take our blush balloon, and we're going to tie it to the top ear twist between the pedal twist and ear twist, or right around those, and then tuck our nozzle in. Bring our balloon all the way back to front, and then we're going to wrap her the bottom part of her head to that ear twist on the bottom. Now there's multiple things you can do once you get this far. If you don't like this bubble on the bottom of your design, you can actually tuck it into the design and make it go away. I leave it there myself, but like I said, it really comes down to personal preferences. And I got some kind of piece of something sticking to my balloon. Okay, and once we get her head in place, the next part is we got to insert her into her dress. So we're putting her dress on now. I go, if you can see, I go 3 fingers from the head, or from the neck area, to the balloon shoulder. I find that's about approximate. And then I'll go, once I get that far in, I will do an open hand bubble on the other end. So we have the 3 fingers, plus the extra bubble here, plus the open hand bubble there. Then we're going to do what is a ear twist for one hand, then followed by an ear twist for another hand. Position your ear twist so they set side by side. And now we've got to put her arms through the other side of her dress. If your pedal twists are a little too tight when trying to pull it back through, you're just going to have to semi-work it in there. It will go eventually. So basically you want to make sure that you go back up, an open hand size bubble, followed by your 3-finger bubble on the top. Her arms should be about center of her body if everything went right. So if her arms seem like they're not centered, you adjust your bubbles up and down accordingly, and that will get her hands in the center. Then make sure once you figured out that, do your 3-finger bubble on the top, and we're going to tie it right back to the top of her neck. And just wrap it around, wrap it around. Okay. As you can see, I took her hair and I turned it between the two bubbles so that it supports her head a little bit. And then here we're going to squeeze down this balloon. And we want to go about a 3-finger bubble off the top of her neck so that she has like a little bit of a neck. Then we're going to break this long. Reason we're breaking this long is we're going to use this extra part to tie her her body part into her dress. So as you can see, we have that, and we're going to go right here between the two bubbles right in the center. I don't know if I'm going to get right here, so you can see what I'm doing. As you can see, I went between the two bubbles, and now I'm really pulling down on that balloon because what I'm doing is I'm trying to grab that knot and wrap it right around her midsection and then bring it into the dress itself so that it ties in place. Now I'll go back in since I got that, and I will adjust her body chest area so that it goes a little bit deeper into the dress. Okay. And we'll adjust her hands and shoulders accordingly. Okay, now that we got her in the dress, she's looking really pretty. As you can see, she's kind of leaning. So the next part would be you would just turn her until she starts to lean back the other direction. Okay. Next, we're gonna do her ribbon in her hair. Real simple. It's 2 small petal twists followed by an ear twist, plus a little extension for tying it on. And the design is basically done. You do not have to add this piece to any of your other ones. You could just make a little bow or whatever that goes around her head, or a little tiara or whatever. So we're going to do about a half hand petal twist, followed by a half hand petal twist. Okay, so they should be about the same size. And then we're going to follow it with an ear twist. Okay, and then we'll bring it through like that, and we have a nice little bow. Okay, next, like I said, we want to break it a little long and tie it off. Then what we're going to do is, just like we did on her neck part, is we're going to tie around the petal twist and the ear twist. You want to tie it semi-tight. So by stretching it, by doing that, you're pulling her bow tight to her hair. You will spread the black ear twist open so that you can push her hair down into the bow. Okay, and then reposition her hair. As you can see, we moved the black ear twist back, we pushed the bow down, we pulled forward on the petal twist on the front so that the bow sits nicely on the top of her head. Okay, and that's my Snow White Princess balloon. I don't draw on them anymore, but if you're an artist, you can draw on there and make really nice faces. The kids love it no matter what. It's a very impressive balloon. Okay, so as you can see, it's our princess. Enjoy.